Alright. This is, making my own little blog thing.
You're gonna blog now, too?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyways. This is Castle and Porter. Really, I'm just doing this because it makes my drive to work a little bit more interesting. So, I figured, at least either on the way to work or on the way back, make a short video. And, just discussion of, point of the day. And we'll see where this goes. So, most likely my point of the day today would be something I actually heard on the radio yesterday. About a National Guard supply sergeant getting pretty much his ass chewed out for taking government funds and using them to buy food for the guardsmen that were beneath him on the account of they had either no money in their applicable budget for food and they weren't given any food to begin with on their little tour of duty, whatever it might have been. Most likely some detail, because that's what they love to stick us on. So, my point of discussion today would most likely be the utter bullshit spending of government funds, and why I think, personally, it was wrong for this supply sergeant to get his ass handed to him over buying lunch. Because if you think about it, let's see here. What does government spend, billions on? Almost every vacation of the president, so...
Remember, you can't have a political opinion on that for a year.
You know what? It's not a political opinion, it's just an opinion.
Okay.
But, let's see here. Billions spent on vacations. That's fucking expensive. Where'd they say he was going, like, Martha's Vineyard or some crazy ass shit?
Yeah, it's the presidential retreat.
Yeah, presidential retreat that costs literally, like, millions, if not billions of dollars. But we can't spare, I don't know, depending on how many troops there were, maybe like $200, $250 at max.
Probably just some fucking Hardee's or something.
Yeah, because to be honest, we're not that picky. I know at my guard weekends in Tennessee, we would get Jimmy John's on Saturday. And
Jimmy John's, you just give the shit to you.
Yeah, I think they just give it to us. And if they don't just give it, I know the sergeant has to sign for it. So either they give it to us, or they sell it to us, but at like an extremely fucking badass discount. So there's a whole lot of, money that could be spent on food right there, because it doesn't even cost a whole lot to feed us. Trust me, we're not that picky as long as we get food. And speaking of which, if I remember correctly from the discussion they did, on the radio about this yesterday, it took him until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for the supply sergeant to, just say, fuck it, we're just going to use government money. And it's not so much that he hesitated and, was making his troops wait. It's the fact that he had to most likely call it up to a higher up and see if it'd even be okay. Or just debate to himself whether somebody is going to come relieve him and give them all some fucking food. So, I don't know. I know all my Army buddies, they'll, probably love me talking about this shit, because even though, if I'm right, I'm the only one out of them that's National Guard, I imagine this shit happens to them too. I mean, it's active duty, reserve, guard, no matter what you are, this kind of bullshit happens a lot. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, we go out there, and not necessarily all of us, but for the most part, we go out, put our life on the line, and do what literally may be called the impossible sometimes. For people who do what? Sit back, play croquet, eat crumpets, and fucking talk shit about everyone else. And I know not everyone does that, because it's a bunch of snooty fucking rich, like, English people. But just in general. In fact, I had a lady yesterday complain to me that, because my civilian job happens to be fast food right now, I had a lady sit there and complain to me yesterday about her chicken wrap being made wrong. And she said, oh, well, you know, I come in here and spend money every day. The least you guys could do is make my food right. And I sat there and thought about it. Okay, so you want to complain to me that you come in here spending money every day to feed your fat ass on some bullshit food that, to be honest, isn't anywhere near good for you. And sometimes don't even taste right. While there's a good chance that I could be called up tomorrow, told I'm going to be deployed, go to some shit hole in the fucking world, like, you know, say, Afghanistan, or fucking the horrible parts of Iraq or something like that, and get my head blown off by some little fucking 8-year-old that they strapped a grenade to. And, yeah, but it's okay. You can just complain about your chicken wrap, because the world revolves around you getting what you want. I don't know. I might be rambling, but I mean, the whole government spending and everything, to me, can also, you know, be tied into, I guess, social inequality, to say. Because if you look at it, probably a quarter of the world's military joined because of they were poor. They were poor, weren't going anywhere. Their parents couldn't really give them much of a future, so they decided to make their own. And what's the best and the easiest, yet also the hardest way to get, you know, a future given you besides the military? So I know that's one of the reasons why I joined. It was not even so much give me a future, but my daughter, because I didn't want her to grow up like her father did, and poor and without. So, but and the government's gonna keep spending their money the way they do until the people ultimately just stand up and say, fuck this. I know it's probably not gonna happen, or at least not for a couple, probably a couple decades. People they just don't have much of a fight in them anymore, except for, you know, those few that end up becoming the 1% of the nation, actually less than 1%, that make up our great U.S. military. So, and, you know, everyone, like, some social media groups sit there and say that all the time, that people need to rise up and take control and all that. And it's not even so much take control. It's not so much we have to overthrow the government and all this shit. We just have to stand up and just say, simply, we're done. We're done with the bullshit. We're done with, you know, everyone being dicked around on these policies and this budget spending and all this. And they just need to get their shit together or get out. We don't have to overthrow them. We don't have to march on Washington and, you know, burn people's houses to the ground and all this stupid shit. In fact, we could just simply, all the people who are, you know, with such a movement, one of the biggest ways that I've contemplated on, you know, being effectful would just simply be not going to work one day and not spending any money. We just sit at home, spend time with our family, and just not pay the government to keep doing what they do. And I don't know about everyone else. My associate here, Tommy, good friend of mine. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it would totally work, because if we don't spend money, how the fuck what are they gonna do? We spend money, yeah, our dollar value doesn't necessarily go to them, but taxes that they implement on us go straight to the government. And if we don't spend money, they don't collect taxes. They don't collect tax dollars. They can't spend that on whatever bullshit they want to spend it. And in turns, it also shows them that we can take a stand and we can take our shit back. I mean, this nation was practically founded on unruliness and people pissed off at their higher power controlling them, and we wanted a change. The same fucking thing is happening now, but instead of, a king, it's a little fucking group of rich people put into a room to talk about how they much rather have or not have our budget spent. And how much of it really goes to us. I mean, yeah, they do all this spending, but how much of their money really goes that they put aside to spend actually goes to, helping the American people? There's some of these senators and congressmen, they practically make their own wages in Congress. I mean, there's some of them being paid like fucking, I don't know, let's hear, what's a good, valuable fucking NFL player? I'm trying to think, I know Peyton Manning makes a shit ton. And there's some congressmen and senators that are making like 8-9 times what Peyton Manning makes in a year. And I know Manning's got to be making, 12 million? 12 and a half per fucking season? So let's hear 12 and a half times 10. What would that come up to? 120 million? These guys make enough to retire literally probably my whole town. If we got money from them, we could most likely retire off what they fucking spend and shit. But, well, I'm about to my destination. Actually, I think I'm on the other side of it. Whatever. Pull into Barnes and Nobles here. This has been my first segment, or my first little take on this whole blogging, video chat type subject. So I'm probably going to post this, see what kind of reviews I get, whether positive or negative. Because as you can see, even being, a mindless drone of the military, I still have an opinion, and I think it's a pretty valued opinion, or at least it should be. And we will see what kind of outcome comes out. So I'm going to post this. Give me your feedback, no matter what it is. If I get enough positive feedback, which I'm hoping, my wonderful extended military family will give me, and get enough positive feedback, I'll continue. If not, this is the only time you guys have to hear me ramble. So, Castlin Porter out of wonderful Louisiana, and I will catch you guys later.